Okay, let's say we put 3 guys. One guy here, one guy here. All right, this is Eve, right? Come on. Same guy working throughout, right? But not all 3 guys install the clip same way. Some guys screw this way in. Some guy take it and tight. Some guy just loose 한다고. 그러면 you add up. Okay, let's say this guy install very loose. This guy install tight. 그러면 panel end up being this way. 16th of inch, keep on doing it. 16 panel, 1 inch is different. 그래서 when I run the job, I rotate sometimes. 근데 그것도 아니다. 왜냐면 하던 놈이 하는 게 제일 빨라. You do the guy who's working on it is saying it's the most efficient way. You want to keep rotating. 그렇게 안 되니까. But that's why a lot of times when you start the panel, let's say this roof, right? From this, you start from here, right? Yes, so you start from here. Always chalk line guidelines comes from finish line. Okay, you're not from here to the other 긋는 게 아니야. You're not. Let's say okay, 20 feet chalk line, 20 feet chalk line. This is straight. Just straight to what? Straight to this roof. You don't want it straight to this roof. You want it straight to the end where you're gonna finish it. So let's say this wall a little skewed, 3 inch off, right? You start 3 inch off. Doesn't matter. Slowly you're turning to make it perfection here, and then nobody will know. Right? So where you finish line, that's what 30 feet, 40 feet, chalk line all the way, chalk line every 30 feet, whatever. Then you know you will be exactly at the finish line. It happened one time at the job, North Carolina, where we worked on one building, American guy worked on one building. There's 2 labor stuff. And the same damn building, the National Guard. We knew with chalk line, this is a 2 inch off. But this guy started here and they ended up doing like this. And they complain, hey, you measure here, they're 2 inch off. So it's not our fault. But they said, the Eastern Peter crew, they had it perfectly finished. Right? Nobody can tell. That depends on workers. And then it becomes disaster for GC. What the? Right? So if we do that, nobody can tell. We can fix some problem. Without telling anybody, 2 inch off, we can easily catch up if you are installing hundreds panel. Right? You just pinch that. If you don't know, we just pinch that right here first. So this is an easy bit. You will start coming catching it. And nobody can tell.
거로를 잠깐 돌아가지고.
Yeah.
I want to tell them if we have an option, the different girdle shape. Mm-hmm. For the installing,
right.
The better one is
Straight box.
Yeah, straight box.
Okay.
If we have option.
Right. Makes it easier than having an angle.
Because sometimes we make.
If you have a lot of hips, a lot of hips and valley.
Something like
Hips
that.
in corner, out corner.
All the minors and
Straight 90 degrees always easier to make in the field.
Should we just submit straight 90 degrees in the
I mean, some if we can, but some jobs if you cannot.
We can.
But 이 정도는 괜찮아. This is okay. 이 정도는 is okay. 이 정도.
Is okay.
근데 we got girl shit like this, 뭐 coming this, 뭐 이렇게 가서 이렇게 가는 거 있잖아. 뭐 이런 stupid girl shit 하면 she takes forever. If that's the case, we cannot change it. Because we got a lot of corners, in corner, out corner. We have to make time to make it in the shop. Prefab it, one piece, then the 90 and send the job site. That way our guy doesn't have to stop. Usually what happens is that corner, they turn around, they try to make this in corner. One guy cutting it, try to make everything. The 2 guys just looking at it. It takes an hour.
because they can't go anywhere until that motor's done.
Yeah. So we prevented like Louis, one guy trained Louis, he'll make one piece, cut it, make man. And Louis is pretty smart. Louis figured out if you give him at it.
He actually knows more than he lets you know.
Yeah. Louis is pretty smart. Figured out. Sometimes he makes a dumb mistake too, but everybody makes dumb mistakes. But if he really at it, since he has time in the shop, like those conductor box, first he makes it terrible. I was like, Louis, come on, man. And then I have to show him a little bit, and he go, oh, then he catches it. Yeah. He did a lot better job than our Federico. Why? He takes some time to make it. Federico, he just wanted to rush in and go home. That's a big difference. Right? Okay, so we got stiffener. Okay, is it done the EE component?
Get your J channel.
그래도 don't trust him.
뭐?
J channel.
나 안 샀어요.
I mean, just a real double check.
Other your J channel on the bottom soffit.
Well, this
We're gonna put the J channel bottom soffit there. Yeah, we can. Yeah, that's a J
You
channel.
can, because it's still, since you got the fascia piece, you might as well go ahead and make the J channel on there too, because it's a connecting piece.
J channel. Okay, J channel. Okay, let's talk about J channel. Let's say angle.
Same thing.
J channel, 90 degree here. What's degree here?
93.
93. Okay. Let's say panel is half inches. Okay, panel is half inch. What are you gonna make this size? Panel is half inch. What's this size?
then there will be.
You gotta get
Eighth of inch more.
Eighth inch more.
Yeah, and then you bend it up. A little bit. 92, 93.
89, 89.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
so I'm
that's
saying
why I was-
88, 89, yeah.
Yeah, it's
87, yeah.
The so
Raise
your
a beam.
ham on the end, your ham counts for about an eighth.
No, hand prop 1/16.
Roll 16.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
8 of inch. I think 4 inch is too much.
Okay.
8 of inch is good. You bend it a little bit. And hammer cover. It will nicely fit it in. Best thing to do, we want to have all the soffit sample here. We put it in. That's the best thing to do. If you make it too much angle, there's a lot of work our guys start pushing it. If you start pushing hard, what happened? Not doing good job. That flashing gonna be bumpy. Okay, so everything has to easily. So we put it here. Usually we put it like 2 and 3 inches. Oh, this is 1. Half inch is always hand is always before half inch, and then let's say it's 1 inch panel, which is 1 and 1/8. Okay. Sometimes they say 1 inch panel. Sometimes they come out with the 7/8. Depending on manufacturer. It's not true 1 inches. So we got be careful. Sometimes some with sophisticated manufacturer they make it different size. They make it this little smaller than this. Because it will
Is
hit
that
top
extra
and it
hand?
will nicely flush here. So it won't bump out. So they don't make the same size. Expensive manufacturers does a better job. Usually. Okay, so we got soffit J channel. We got quantity, obviously we put it in. Okay, Eve component is done.
Well, what if, let's say, like zebra, is there at Eve because it's pencil rib? I mean, not the, you know, it has the bumps.
Yeah, pencil rib.
Pencil rib,
다운
yeah.
스포트 들어가야죠, 입 컴플러. 다운 스포트.
다운
Oh, that's what, yeah, that's what. Okay.
Oh, I just remember, is it only at Peak? But they have some kind of closure
What?
for that, I think.
The picture of the pencil rib?
Yeah.
I think they don't, not manufacturer makes, you mean they make a Z-bar like this?
Oh, they for sure have something. You have to order that from them.
The rib? They make like this?
Yeah, just the pencil 비냈죠.
Yeah, it's
I know, but think their Z, but that's why their Z is not this. They cover with the foam.
Yeah.
That's why. So
Yeah.
you're pushing down with the foam.
They sell in 10-foot sections, foam closure and hip closure.
Yeah. So you're pushing down on it, so it covers it. This one is one of the worst. I don't know lately, because a long time I did this, the Centuria detail. A few years later I went there, it shrank, create like half-inch gap inside. It never shrink back. That's each corner. So I don't know nowadays they make better product, but yeah, I don't like this foam. Okay, so we gotta make a downspout. Okay, downspout. Downspout. Downspout, we always need to check size. Based on what?
Based on drawing?
Based on the drawing.
Yeah.
Of course, spec or drawing, whatever they call for. Right? If drawing and the spec doesn't call for the size, how we do it?
RFI it
Yeah, we have to RFI or confirm with
the
GC.
drawing.
Almost always they have underground pipe. They're connecting it. Ground, cast iron pipe. Right? If that's the case, you need to ask them what's cast iron pipe size. Right? Ask them what is size. Inside dimension. Right? Come inside dimensional, make it about
Little smaller than
4 inch smaller. Usually good. 4 inch. Because that way we got room to come a little bit off is okay.
Yeah. Can you play with ID?
Yeah. 4 inch smaller. We know what that is. Because obviously we don't have to make it bigger than this.
Right.
Doesn't make sense. Okay? So let's say, if
Well,
we
they-
take,
And those downspouts, I guess you ask them how their underground pipe is. Those pipes are probably already calculated per magnet or something like that. Is that why we just asking for the size of that, or just to meet it? It doesn't matter.
usually provided by the plumbing guys
Uh-huh.
who's working on it.
They've already done the research, right?
They already submit something.
Or sort of the
That's
magnet
not
detail.
loose.
Okay.
So we don't know what the size is, what they submitted.
Perfect.
Yeah, so we can fit it right
It's
exactly.
easier.
We don't. If we make it bigger, a lot of times we made it bigger, and then we have to make adapter.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes there's a big argument. Is round pipe coming out? You have to connect it. You're square.
Yeah.
And then we usually argue there's an adapter that can make it round to square. There's a PVC, but round to square. He's still going to get done there.
because it's cheaper for us to do square down.
So 이거 하려고. If the spec doesn't call for round, specifically call round downspout. We don't want to get away from round downspout. We cannot make.
Yeah.
Right?
We
It's
can
expensive.
make it.
It's expensive. Right? So you go usually push it. Hey, you got an adapter. We say, hey, that's your job. Right? And then we gotta argue at the point. Hey, this provided by plumbing supplier. Why is our job? So sometimes depending on the situation, you cannot win the battle, right? Somehow more spec calls for round, if spec calls round downspout, then we do this and then we do the transition.
Right.
Or don't bring it out even. Okay, don't argue. Then you go, hey, you go round downspout. Why are you gonna do this? That's stupid, right? If spec around, if we can approve this rectangular shape, then you don't want to come and say, hey, you bring the adapter. That's probably not particularly easy, right? You guys will be back on. You changed it. We changed it for you. But a lot of times they don't know round and versus square what's the cost difference. So then we do the adapter. We can make a two-piece adapter. We can make it like this two-piece, like this, and then the bottom it comes square, and then there's two-piece. We can make it.
No.
Two-piece we just put it there. Yeah, we can do it, but it's extra work, so I try to get away from it. But it's no big deal. If they call for square or the downspout, we find it, they let them provide the adapter. And then sometimes they have two different size downspout too. You gotta check on some have valley, more water coming down, they want bigger downspout. Some job does. So check this different size. And then how we calculate downspout quantity.
By the plan.
So we'll say elevation. Let's say this is overhang. So this is 15 feet, right? 15 feet. You got like 2 to 3 foot overhang. So when you got one piece, I mean, think about it. You need all this. So you probably need 2.5 pieces. So add it. Grow. Just add it exactly. Don't overdo it. We can always make a downspout. You can always put downspout later, anytime. Right? Don't have 100. You want to extra, but like 50 of them left over. The downspout is no width left over. We throw away. Okay, so we got Eve component finish. Q. Oh, 그렇지. That's right. You spend.
What?
That's right. See component. You think of downspout strap.
Down by strip.
Yeah, strip usually by default we even 2 inches, I believe, right? The half inch. And time to time, that one special strap. Or some heavy gauge strap. Those are time to time when we have to tackle by the job. But that's default. We use strap. We install almost always. We install this way. 아니야?
한쪽 꺾여.
이게 벽이고
네.
그렇게 안 하죠.
이 어디 이렇게 나오냐?
그렇죠. 그렇죠.
이렇게 나와서?
아니요.
이렇게 잡냐? 이렇게?
예.
이렇게 잡아가지고
예.
So they do that and they rebuild it here
예.
and they right. But anyway, you give us that they work on it.
We always think the gutter and the gutter strap. I mean gutter hanger together. Gutter and gutter hanger. And downspout and downspout.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So are we done with the eave? Yeah, we're done with the eave, I think. With this component, you got eve fab list done.
Except for on the Eve 2, your fascia piece is going to be a little different.
그렇지. Yeah, you're right. Good catch. Some area, the angle of this is different. It's critical. Right? Because that slope of the roof is 4 and 12 and they're based on 4 and 12. So we have to give an angle. What's 4 and 12? This angle. 4 and 12 is 108? 104, 3 and 12. 106, 108? Something like that. So you gotta put that there. Two different shapes. That's it pretty much, right? That's it pretty much for that one. Cool. This job, I don't know what the original detail calls for. Do we need a head channel? We don't need a head channel.
Channel?
Right now it's saying no, it's saying by others on that,
But we don't need head channel.
Oh yeah,
period.
it's
Why?
Oh, I don't know.
This is nail-based installation they put it in. We can install it, the screw directly to that plywood, OSB board.
그렇다면 저 아키 드로잉에 해처널이 나와 있기 때문에 아마 그렇게 넣었을
It
거예요.
was like it wasn't hat channel.
No, it said metal stud.
Yeah,
They said
metal stud.
Why we draw a head channel? They say metal stud.
예, 이렇게 hat channel 안 나오고 이렇게 straight piece로 이렇게. 돼
Yeah,
있어요.
the metal stud was lost there. Yeah. Then if we create the one, GC said that you do it. Exactly. Because it's on the contract. If we have to add a piece that is not called for architecture drawing, but you guys need it for your installation, that's yours. Whatever it is. Whether it's if additional wood blocking, we don't call for it, but you guys need it, it's yours. That's always in the contract a lot of times. It makes sense. We're adding something more than the so don't put the Hannah finally realized it.
she
Yeah.
still has it now.
Yeah.
We just have to send her an
So
email.
this item we need to get rid of it.
This is actually more in detail, I think. Is it?
Oh, okay. Something
Yeah.
so I don't know whether we don't need head channel. Okay.
Yeah. This seems.
You draw metal stud. Metal stud by others, right?
Yes. Yes.
The metal stud by others.
Oh, no, never
metal
mind.
stud 이렇게 나가면 못 다는데.
This is separate.
It looks like metal stud runs same way software runs. On the drawing, I think.
야, 언더 드로잉 세임 웨이죠.
그러니까 software
이렇게
어떻게
이렇게 가야지. 이렇게 가야지.
그거는 나중에 we tackle. Right now, just get approval. If we do too much different, they're gonna reject it. Right? 그거는 RFI 가지고 tackle. Make sure that those items you need to know that what we need to discuss as you're doing it. Okay, I'm gonna talk about metal stud, and software.
서핏이 그렇게 크지 않으면 it's not bigger software.
Exactly. We don't need you're okay with it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so we're done Eve component. And the next component we're going to discuss is on the we're going to discuss panel installation first, which is valley component. So we need this for panel installation. We're going to go to valley detail for this job. I know the special panel to panel transition that which we needed, so we're going to do that after valley. So this one needs to have it job at the beginning so we can keep on installing valley. Alright, so we do valley. Obviously valley pan. This is what? You can get one. This stiffener is wrong. This stiffener, if we need it, we need to put a C shape. Anyway, so we need a valley pan. Looks like you hammed it. Right? And you do open ham. This one has to be open. And then let's say this is 12 inches, 12 inches, is inch and half, or 2 inches, whatever. 2 inches 좋지 않냐? belly core?
때에 따라서요.
근데 여기 발린 코 없는 걸로?
여기 배지는 코 없는 걸로 얘기했지.
Okay, so anyway, valley, 코 없는 걸 해? We need to get approval though. 야, 나중에 코가 없다고 뭐 지나버리면 we can add a core later. Okay? How we do it? How we add this core? Nose later. If they say, why you didn't have a nose?
Well, because
Let's glue it. Silicone, clean it, silicone and glue the top. It will stay there.
Oh.
Don't screw it to glue it, just. Anyway, it will just stop deflecting the water the other panel.
Right,
That's the purpose. When it flow down, you don't want to hit the other panel either. So you need a given degree, whatever that is, right, based on slope. If you several different slope, you need several different values. Okay, and then this one has a, you need this detail, this particular, we want this particular, we need another piece, looks like, right? It looks like this. The valley cleat. So valley doesn't get any screws in the middle. That's the reason for that. They're holding here by this. Right? But this is important. Valley needs to fix somewhere. Otherwise, valley will slide. 이렇게만 잡고 per this detail. If you hold on like this, what's going to hold the valley? Cleat hold this way. Gravity will pull it down. 그러면 later you got valley sliding down. You're a disaster. That happens many times. Panel sliding down. You see it. Even down this highway drive. So you don't have to time this. You got to think. So at the joint of the valley, where a valley joint, huh? We got to tell them to at the top of the valley. We got to tell them to screw down, and then we overlap.
2 inches or whatever.
Valley. The valley is fixed. Valley always fixed. It's okay. The lowest point.
You guys need to know that the body overlap, even body, the other one is okay, just only belly overlap enough.
Well, what is our valley overlap typically? What we want? If we can, at least 10 inches.
10 inches?
10 inches.
Wow.
1 feet.
Yeah, 10 to 1 inches. 12 foot plus minus is good. More overlap is better.
No, that overlap, yeah, I mean, you guys use tape or
Yeah.
butyl tape?
We can use the butyl tape. We can also we shoot the butyl caulk behind.
Okay.
We got a lot of nasty stuff inside.
Okay.
Right? And make sure valley screws down. So you just hold down, sliding. Very, 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 very important, this detail, if we do
The
this one.
other flashings, overlap the 3 inches, 4 inches. something
But
like that.
those things we need to emphasize to our foreman. Our guy, don't think about it.
Yeah.
That's just you have a higher chance of a flow back in the valley because the amount of water that comes into it, so that's why you go into a 10 inch. Okay.
Especially low slope. Valley is even lower slope. Okay? Valley is even lower slope than Eve. So it's like 2 and 12, valley is almost flat. 1 and 12, valley is flat. So you can easily backflow.
Backflow.
If windy day, it will backflow.
Okay.
That's why we emphasize Cavender when they're joining that with all kinds. We emphasize we do all kinds of ugly stuff inside because the core and 12 slope, right? Core and 12 slope is almost flat. Core metal. That panel is the only panel. That's what they use that panel. Sharper George panel is the only panel allowed core and 12. Standard panel is half and 12 minimum. Sharper George they use metal building. Their core and 12 is okay. But the standard is technically only minimum half and 12. But core and 12 you can always flow backward. Seriously. Windy situation you just flow backward. Because when you hit the joint, if you didn't seal properly, what's going to happen? It's going to push it inside. Because of that, they got 3 inch rib. They got bigger rib. Bigger area to hold hole. That's what if water even accumulates, they're thinking, oh wait, 3 inches is gonna accumulate. Even if it's end dam, it's not gonna go 3 inches. Before 3 inches, they'll flow down. So this is a structure panel that needs. So you gotta know that the choice of panel is too. If they end up specify span out, then our project manager knows, oh, span out is not happening. You gotta call NBCI. Can you do it 4 inches? They probably say no. You gotta let the owner know. This cannot be done. You're wrong about this. So what else we need value? 여기는 usually value has backup, but this one does not. Why?
Value backup. L base.
그리고 I don't think this one should require backup anyway because the design. Even if we don't have nail bay if it's in top of installation. Because design, I don't think it needs a backup. Because you're not backup usually there to reinforce the screw to hold tight. So a lot of times E-fix design needs a backup. And then even E-floating design needs backup because there's cleat, you screw down the cleat, you hold down. Right? You cleat it, you screw this, you need a backup. Hold down this tight. This cup tape, hold this down tight. So the screw doesn't pop out. That's what the backup is all for. That's just a lot of waste on the valley. Sometimes it's big valley, it's a lot of valley, I usually cut it half, a little bit, to save it. All purpose is hold down the dependent job. Right? But this job doesn't need a backup, regardless. Why? We're not holding down anything on the valley. Panel reinforcement is just merely on the cleat. And then we can hold down valley sliding by screws. But anyway, so we don't need backup here. So body components, we have one more thing we need, right? 이거 하면 Q, 이거 하면 we need open, we probably need 1 inch, maybe 3/4, and 5/8, holding down, cleat.
What is?
This cleat for the valley, you see that cleat for the valley, right?
Yeah.
Both sides, you need double the quantity. 그리고 we need, what else we need? Valley. You need stiffener, right? This stiffener running draw. This valley stiffener needs to calculate it, 90란 말이지.
디귿자요?
디귿자로. Okay? 그리고 whatever thickness of the panel standing up, usually 3/8 inches, right? You put 3/8 inches. And then maybe 1 inch. 1 inch, that's good. And then 3/8 inches. Color, always note the color by arrow, okay? Something's obvious, but okay, note the color side arrow. Right? Something's obvious, but something's not. Okay, stiffener, double mount. We're going to screw it, rivet it, the stiffener. Why is it C shape instead of L?
Oh, you can slide?
It's a lot better. And then when you do the riveting, what's going to hold down? How are you going to hold that? Why are you pushing? This is panel. This is panel, right? If you do L, you try to rivet here. What's going to hold it down? It's going to move if you try to push it with a drill bit. But if you do C, right? Same thing as better water flow restriction. And the valley is done, right? Valley component is done. Okay, this is the minimum need for the job. Go on, but this job is one more. This job is one more area. When you look at the roof plan,
Slope transition.
yeah, we definitely need slope transition where we need the flashing to work on the panel. So obviously we're going to the bottom panel first. So let's see what the slope transition looks like. Okay, A2, right? A2.
A2. 1A2.
Okay. slope transition. Slope transition. We need to design the way it works our benefit. Right? 이걸 어떻게 설명을 잘하나? Okay. This is a roof deck. Right? So this panel will be installed first. Right? Do we install this panel as tight as all the way here?
A little bit lower, is it?
A little lower?
Just a little bit. You gotta give it some thermal movement, right?
Thermal movement too. But,
The angle it approaches.
we need to install the flashing, right?
I got you. Yeah.
It's come up here, right? If you make it too tight here,
Goes up.
too tight here, this flashing tend to become almost flat. So you have to start all the way there. We stop here. Right? This panel. Either way, I think it's very similar, but you need the room to move. Well, 여기 drawing, this drawing doesn't really clearly indicate what the job condition is, but this has to be really big. You gotta know that this has to be really big. Don't think 6 inch, 8 inch and cut it. This is almost 12 to 14, 15 inches.
Or longer, I guess, depending on that slope transition.
Yeah.
So longer will be better for this one.
Okay.
So typically they go, 16 inches, right? But no, you cannot make it 6 inches. You cannot make it too much. You gotta start. The panel stop way before bottom first, and transition this. Almost always we like this detail versus there's a panel break. Sometimes job they break the panel. They cut the rib and turn.
Oh
There's
yeah,
some detail.
separate.
There's some detail in it. And then when I want to show our entire roof and then caulk the rivet pinhole. We don't like this detail. But sometimes you call for that way. But then if they call for that way, we usually default to, hey, this detail will be better. And so this whole bottom transition is off. We need this flashing to get this one. We need Z-bars. We need to send everything there, unfortunately. This flashing, let's say we make it 16 inches. We'll make it 8 inches. Whatever slope. Okay, this slope, right? This slope is a little down. It's better.